What's up? Bradley Aidanjohnson here, and I just want to do this video on this dude, and I'm gonna, first of all, if you ain't seen this is a video on a guy that drank 10 Cokes a day, 10 cans of Coke every single day, and then 30 days later he reported like, look, this is what happens if you drink that much Coke. And I was like, as soon as I saw this come up on my Facebook feed, I was like, I'm gonna love this. But I didn't realize how much I would love it. So I thought I would do a full scientific kicking your ass analysis of everything that he said in this video. So if you haven't seen it, don't worry about going to see it, because I'm going to include all the footage that he put in this video, so you'll be able to see the whole damn thing. So with no further ado, I'm going to let him introduce it so that he can explain to you exactly what happened.
Hi, I'm going to do a little experiment over the next 30 days.
Experiment. This word keeps banding around the internet all the time, like just using the word experiment. Experiment actually means a specific thing within science, right? And without any controls, any defined parameters, other than just saying, oh, I'm gonna do something. It's not an experiment, yeah? Just some stuff that you're gonna do does not an experiment make. You can't use the word experiment for fun. It doesn't actually make it an experiment. It just means it's some shit that you did one day. If I go to walk down the street and go, let me just do an experiment and see what happens when I do it on one leg. That's not an experiment. That's just me finding out what happens if I do it on one leg. That's totally separate from defining clear parameters of what you will explore within the experiment and setting controls to be able to decipher what actually is the cause of the thing that you're attempting to find out in the experiment, and what is just extraneous information that happened to happen, to be able to come up with a clear and scientific approach path through that knowledge and be able to learn something in the end of it, rather than just trying to prove your own damn point.
Where I make one small change in my diet and see how it affects my health.
Alright, one small change. 10 Cokes a day is not one small change. It's actually many large changes to your diet. By adding an additional 1,400 calories to your diet, what you're actually giving yourself is a pound of fat in terms of energy storage on top of your other diet. And plus, as he states himself, he follows a paleo diet, which typically is high in fat, high in protein. Now it's going to also be high in carbs. That's high in every single macronutrient, and no matter what diet you think you're following, high in every single thing will always lead to fat storage. There's no real need for the body to come up with any particularly crafty solutions for nutrient partitioning or storage or anything. It has everything it could possibly need. Muscle synthesis, right there. Brilliant, got all the protein. Hormone replacement, it's right there. Energy storage, I can just use the carbs. It doesn't have to work out anything. It doesn't have to do anything inefficiently. Incidentally, this is actually the optimum state for a body to be in, because you have so many of these nutrients. It's in a perfect condition to thrive and store body fat, because that's actually what the body wants to do. So it's not in and of itself negative, and without taking note of other factors, which of course he fails to mention, because you don't get to find out what the rest of his diet really is, other than a quick clue of it's kind of paleo, he says, but more on that later. Also, you don't know his exercise levels, you don't know what he's doing, because as I said before, this experiment has no controls or set parameters. It's just a thing that some dude did 1 month, and he did it crazy for no real reason, and just as well, oh god, are you serious right now?
I've just gotten back from the doctors where I had a complete physical. I'm 50 years old, I'm in good health, and I'm going to also, as I go along, keep records of how my weight changes. I have a blood pressure monitor. I can check my blood pressure as we go. And I also have a blood glucose monitor. So I'll be able to see how my blood sugar levels are affected by the change in the diet.
So yeah, your blood glucose levels. Well, there's about 12 to 15 grams of glucose inside each can of Coke. So since you're having 10 of those a day, let's just call it 120 grams of additional glucose per day ingested just from the Coke. So over a month, that's about 4 kilos. I wonder what will happen if you ingest an additional roughly 4 kilograms of glucose into your system with your blood glucose levels. Will they go up? Will they go down? It's just so hard to tell. I can't imagine it. And that's for like your blood pressure levels. Lacking exercise, increasing body fat, the increased additional caffeine in your body will lead to, oh god, it's like science was never done for this stuff. You can't observe so many parameters by just doing one thing that has so many effects on other things. Like, it just because in your mind it's one thing, like, oh, I'll just eat this pizza. You're not eating a pizza to your body. You're eating the particular micronutrients to your body, of that pizza, in addition to the other things that you were already consuming. It's a massive change in everything of your body's way of ingesting food. So you can't just increase one thing just because you say to you it's pizza, or you say Christmas dinner, or you say a year of eating more. These things aren't scientific parameters. They're concepts to you in your human mind, but in science they're meaningless. This Coke that he's having is changing a lot of things in his dietary makeup, and in doing that he's going to have a lot of effects. More on those.
What's the one little change? I'm going to start drinking 10 Cokes a day. That's the only change. It's only 1,400 more calories, but we're going to see what the increased sugar and the increased insulin load, how that affects my health.
I swear, insulin has to be in contention for one of the most misunderstood things in history. Definitely within the world of diet, exercise, health and fitness and nutrition, it's got to be the most misunderstood thing. What people seem to think is that insulin itself is some kind of magical micronutrient. Like, if you were starving and someone injected you with insulin, you just start getting fat. Or, like, rather than it being an instruction of how to partition nutrients and what to do with them within the body, it's in fact just magical carb fat storage. So no matter what you're eating other than that, if as soon as you eat some carbs, insulin just magically appears like a fairy and just makes you fat. And it's just so wildly incorrect. We don't have enough time to get into insulin exactly how it works, but basically it's just, if you're a person you think about insulin that doesn't, and you don't have diabetes, you are wasting hours of your day. This person here has already highlighted the flaw that's going to drag throughout the rest of this entire video series that he does. He expects himself to get fat. He wants himself to get fat. So he's going to make sure he gets fat. So at the end of it, he can be like, look, see what happened? I drank all this Coke and I got fat. Because then it's an interesting series of YouTube videos. If you just drink Coke and nothing really happens and you just change your diet accordingly, it's not that big a deal. It just means whatever. But if it's like he gets fat, he's like, see, I told you I was paleo before. He's already one of those paleo, CrossFit weirdos, like soccer mom, getting into exercise and fitness maybe, and trying to get all interested and knows a few big words that he saw in a YouTube video or two, and now you're an expert, dude. And then here we have all this foolishness about, oh, Coke is the demon because insulin and carbs, it's not the fat, it's the, oh god, it just makes me sick.
So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be blogging about it and writing about it and letting you know how I feel and what changes have happened in my body, and I'm ready to get started.